Welcome to the Third One channel, where today we're talking about drinks, beverages, whatever you want to call them. We're going to be putting them into tier lists. I'll be giving my thoughts from the worst being F and the best being S. So let's get straight into it with Gatorade. So Gatorade, I'd slap it in B. I remember having soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, practices or games, and after the game, that Gatorade would hit different, and all the different colors and everything. A lot of them I didn't like, but at school, like the clear Gatorade was kind of purpley, it was nice. I like the yellow one, the orange one, the blue one. It's just Gatorade's good. It's not the best. It doesn't taste quite like great, but there's something about it that's refreshing, and I liked it. Moving on, we got Fruit Punch, which I'd say deserves at least an A. Any kind of multi-fruit juice, I just think is really good. They're sweet, but at the same time they're like full of flavor. It's like drinking a soda, but it feels healthier. I just really like any kind of fruit punch, multi-fruit kind of deal. Next up, we got energy drinks, which I'm gonna dump in like D or F tier. I just really don't love energy drinks. I just always would rather have a soda, and I get that they have the high caffeine thing going for them, but I just don't like that way of kind of keeping myself working or whatever. So I'm not a big fan of the caffeine. I'm not a big fan of the taste, and that just takes away all need for energy drinks for me. So that's a personal thing. I don't love energy drinks. I almost want to drop them down to an F. There's too much wrong with them for me. Next up, we got basically Sprite or any kind of lemon sodas. This one has to say, oh man, I'm tempted, but no, I dropped this next to Fruit Punch. It's better than Fruit Punch, I think. I grew up really drinking a lot of Sprite. It was my favorite soda growing up, and there's just something about the kind of, I love fizzy drinks, so the fizzy, lemony, really refreshing drink with ice, for example. Oh man, it doesn't get much better. But where it does get better is, I don't know. I think different people react to this in different ways, but I really do think water is S tier. There was a point where I just started drinking a lot of water, and it became like 90% of what I drink, and I never looked back. Water. If you find a way to appreciate water, it's really good, and it tastes good. I don't know. It's hard to talk about water, but water is great. Water is S. It doesn't really get much better than water. Obviously, when you have like 10% something else like Fanta Sprites, it makes them taste even better. But on the daily, water all the way. Moving on, we got lemonade. And would I rather have a Sprite or a lemonade? It really depends, but honestly, these kind of lemony drinks, I'm all for them. I think most days I'd take a lemonade. It's just refreshing. It doesn't have that same fizz to it, which is where I pick the Sprite, but they deserve to be together, I think. Next up is milk. And milk is a bit touchy because I really do like milk and I like cereal and all that. But milk kind of gave me acne growing up, so I stopped drinking it, and then I never really got back into it. But I think milk as a drink definitely deserves like B tier. I think Gatorade and milk kind of deserve to be in the same place, to be honest. Next up, we got grape juice, which is like, it always feels a little too sweet. I don't know a day where I'd pick like grape juice over fruit punch or lemon juice or orange juice or apple juice. It just has that kind of cheap sweet feel to it. It's just a little bit too obvious and nectary, I'd say, and I'm not a huge fan. But I know when I was young, I liked grape juice, but I think it was just because it was sweet. Moving on, we got iced tea, which it depends big time on which iced tea. There's so many different ones, but on its day, it's okay. Maybe I drop lemonade in S tier, maybe Sprite as well. And I drop iced tea right next to fruit punch. Man, the perfect iced tea hits so hard, but there's also so many like bad ones with artificial sweeteners, and it's just not great ones generally. But iced tea, a good one, A tier. Moving on, we got sparkling water, which I'm gonna drop straight next to water. Obviously, I don't really want to have sparkling water every time, but it's one of those things where like 10% of the time, if I gotta get a sparkling water, like I said, I like fizzy drinks. Sparkling water it just adds that extra bit of kind of spice to the normal water, and I really appreciate it for that. Moving on, we got citrus sodas, Fantas. for example. And honestly, Fanta is something that I came to appreciate more than Sprite with the more time went on. So I almost want to drop Sprite down here because it's kind of like a current list, you know? So I do appreciate Fantas and citrusy sodas way more now. They just got more flavor to them, and they got that they still got that fizziness to them, which I love. So yeah, I'd put them up there. Next up, we got colas, which I dropped down with the grape tier. I maybe I could be generous and give it a C, but I think yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of the cola flavor generally, and I hate how my teeth are always sticky after it, and I would just never pick a cola over any of the drinks I have up here really. Even like things like I'll get to the next drinks, but like it's just not something I love, and I don't understand how it's so popular. Moving on, we got chocolate milk, which I'm gonna drop Gatorade down to B because I'm starting to see a little trend here. These drinks just are a little higher tier. And chocolate milk, I like hot chocolate, but chocolate milk, I think I'm gonna have to drop this with grape juice. Like drinking like cold chocolate milk, I don't know any time where I'd take that over normal milk. It's just too sweet, and drinking chocolate feels wrong. I don't know. That's just me maybe. Next up, we got root beer, which I'd toss safely next to milk. Um, is it better than Gatorade? That's complicated. Maybe I do this because root beer is like nice once in a while, but I don't see myself drinking root beer regularly. I think it's a really interesting taste though. I like that it's a little more on the bitter side, and it's nice to mix things up sometimes. Next up, we got apple juice, which I talked about briefly. I think that apple juice is a great example of another B tier because, the right apple juice can hit really hard, but some of them are just like too sweet or tangy. And yeah, I dropped them about B, but the best apple juice is like up here somewhere. But yeah, around B. I like actually there are these drinks where you can get like an apple juice kind of thing, but with fizz in them, and they're a little bitter, and I like those a lot. But that's not apple juice. Moving on, we got Powerade, which is safely worse than Gatorade in my opinion. I think Gatorade is just much better. Powerade just tastes a little more watered down to me, a little less exciting. So I'm gonna put it next to root beer somewhere. I think that's where it deserves to be. Next up, we got orange juice, which is an OG. There's just so many different kind of ways you can get orange juice, but I kind of like the stronger ones, the more less sweet ones and more sour ones. I think I'd place orange juice, just above apple juice. I think generally I'd go for orange juice. I guess orange juice in the morning, apple juice more in the afternoon. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but yeah, good drink. Next up, we got orange soda. Okay, hold on. So citrus sodas is different from orange sodas. And citrus sodas is different from lemon lime sodas. I'm gonna toss this one next to Sprite below it, just because I'm a little unsure. But I'm sure I'd love citrus sodas, and orange soda is what I meant when I meant citrus sodas. And moving on, we got two historically really popular drinks, one of which I drink and one of which I don't really drink. And I kind of already talked about caffeine. Not that I would put coffee in F tier generally. I think it's a decent drink, and I think it is great, the idea of it. But I personally don't drink coffee. I still wouldn't put it in F. I just don't feel right doing that. I'll drop coffee in D though. But on the other hand, tea I drop somewhere around here. Maybe feels wrong putting it below Gatorade. I think right there because there's so many different teas. I personally like some like green teas. They're really nice to calm down. You know what? I don't. I feel comfortable dropping it in C because the reason why I don't drink a lot of tea is because when you drink tea, you kind of like warm up inside, and then you kind of get too hot, and then you like it kind of defeats the purpose because you just like it too hot, and that's just me. So I prefer usually iced tea, like a good iced tea. But that's my drinks beverages list. I'm happy with this now. Moral of the story: I like water and lemony stuff and orangey stuff with a little bit of fizz in it. That's what I like. Don't like too sweet. Don't like Coca-Cola, energy drinks, that kind of thing. Maybe it's because it's like feels unhealthy or whatever. But yeah, that's my opinion. I would like to hear, what are your favorite drinks? Where did I go wrong? What have I gotten completely wrong? I bet you a lot of people will say cola and energy drinks, but it's my opinion. It's what it is. This has been the Third Wind Channel, and I'll see you all very soon with a brand new video.